Hi everyone, it's Tammy, and I know this is a different angle for me, but I am going to do a different kind of video today. This one is mostly for my friend Jennifer, who just got a Cricut Air Explore, and she's never had a Cricut before. So hi Jennifer, I hope that this helps you. The Cricut Air Explorer is a wonderful machine. It will Bluetooth cut things for you. If you have Bluetooth on your computer, you can set up your computer to do a Bluetooth. You can also use your iPad or you can use your iPhone. I do have it on my iPad. I have it here on my iPad, and I also have it on my iPhone so that I can design on the run if I want, and then come home and cut stuff out. I do not have Bluetooth on my computer, so I have to have it connected, which is not a problem for me. So I have that connected, and what you do is the first thing you do is click on your Cricut Design Studio Space icon that they give you when you first download the software. So I'm going to assume that you have downloaded the software and that you've followed the instructions to do the Bluetooth and to even do your first cut if you want to use the hello pattern that they give you to first cut. We are going to create a new project, so I just clicked on that. I don't know if it saves me as I'm logged in. It does not, so I'm going to quickly log in. It does remember your email and password. And now it says Tammy up here in the corner. I don't know if you can see that, and I apologize if you guys are too far away. I wanted to make sure that you could see everything on my screen. So I'm clicking on no, I don't need to click on Tammy. I'm clicking on File, and I'm going to say New as soon as it allows me. And I'm going to create a new file. So the first thing I want to do is insert images, and I have a lot of images loaded in from my Cricut cartridge stock because I had a ton of Cricut cartridges. And Jennifer, since you're new at this and you don't have any Cricut cartridges, you can still do insert images, and that's what I would recommend. But you might look at all images up here and then just browse through what you can purchase or what you can use. If you have purchased them, they will say purchased here on the list as opposed to a price. And if I clicked on that, I could make that cut without having to worry about paying for it. If I click on something that I don't have and I want to purchase that, I can easily do that either with a subscription or I can just pay per image. And anything with the A here means that that's part of the prescription. No, not that. Part of the subscription. So let's say you do the $9.99 subscription every month. You would pay that monthly and you would have access to all of these with the A. I have images that I know that I like and I want to use, so I'm going to click over to my cartridges, and I'm going to then filter with using this filter that's next to the search bar, and click on my cartridges. So then it will show all the cartridges that I have and all the images that I can make. And I'm going to just scroll down. I could, because I know that I want to use my Easter 2010 cartridge, I could put that in the search line and just search by name. But I don't know. I'm actually, you know what? Sometimes I like to scroll through because I'll see images that I forgot that I had. And one thing that I love is the Create a Critter cartridges, and they often have like Easter images or whatnot on them. So I'm going to click on my Create a Critter 2 image instead of my Easter image, and all I do is I find the Create a Critter 2, and it has an A next to it, so this would be one that was in the subscription, and I will click View All 200 Images, and I'm just going to view all the images that that cartridge has stored in it. And there are several that I could use for Easter. I don't know if you can see all of those, but there's a cute chocolate bunny, one that says Happy Easter, grass, springtime. Usually the Create a Critter 2 is all of the holiday and special occasion critters, and Create a Critter, the first one, just Create a Critter, is just critters. Those are probably, honestly, my two favorite cartridges of all time. I love critters, so I use them a lot. And it looks like they did a pretty good job of keeping the Easter ones together up at the front, and kind of the holidays, like there's Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, graduation, and they look like they are kind of all together. So I'm going to find a cute image that I would like to do, and I think I might do this bunny right here. Yes, let's go with this bunny. So I click on that and it puts a check mark next to it, and I'm hoping that you can see that. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger. I'm It doesn't look like I can. So I'm hoping that you can see that. If not, I just click on that image and it puts a check marks next to it. And then down at the bottom of your screen, you will notice that it has all of the images that you pick. I could pick 16 images or however many images, and all of them will show up on the bottom of this screen. And I'm really wondering if you can see that. So I'm thinking I'm going to pause you and hold on just a second. Okay, I'm hoping that you can see this a little bit better. I'm sorry for the switch of angles, but if you can notice that I have like check marks on all of these, I can either click it again to take the check mark off and then it will move it away from here, or I can click here and make it go away. So I can either click at the bottom of the screen, and hopefully you can see that okay, or I can click the image and say, okay, I really don't want to do this egg. I only want to do this cute little bunny. So now that I have that picked, I'm going to select on the green insert images that I don't think that you can see, and I know I'm going to move the tripod just so you can try to see it. Hopefully there. Okay. I'm going to click on that green insert images. I'm trying to do that with my left hand and I'm stinking at it. There we go. Oh, there we go. So now I'm putting you back the way you were, and it brings up the image on my Cricut, or on my studio. And this is the screen. So this is the screen. Well, you know that's the screen. This is a picture of the mat. So the mat is 12 inches by 12 inches, and the screen shows inch increments, 12 inches by 12 inches. And it will go further if you want it to, because it will actually do 24 inches if you have a 24-inch mat, or it could even go longer if you need it to. So it will go as far that way as you want, but most of the time you use your 12 by 12 mat. I have a longer mat, and honestly I've only used it one time, so I don't think that you should invest in one of those unless you know you're going to need it. So I have my image here and I can move it to wherever I want. I personally like putting things in the upper left hand corner because that's how I function best, and it shows me how big the image is going to be. So if I put it at the very top and at the very side, I know exactly how big this image is going to be. And I wouldn't cut it like that, but that's the way I can tell, okay, I know that this image is about 1.5 by about 2.25, and maybe I want it to be a little bigger. I know that a normal card is 4.25 by 5.5, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so it will fit a little nicer on that card. Now, as you can see, when I'm holding down this button, I can make it really big, I can make it really small. Be careful when you're making things smaller, only because the Cricut has it as the certain size, and it's okay to make it smaller. Just be careful when you do, because the little small intricate cuts such as the eyes or letters, or like the dots to an eye, or the I don't know, just the little baby pieces will also be smaller, obviously, and it will be very difficult to either get those cut or pick them out when you're trying to do that. It's okay to do, just know that sometimes it's more difficult than others. Usually the Cricut Explorer does a very fine job of cutting. If you get too small though, it could maybe not cut well and might just rip the paper at that point. So you do have to be careful when you're making things too small. So on this one, I'm going to make it, I don't know, I think about this big looks good to me. I don't even know exactly how big that is. And it really doesn't matter where I put it in the page. Well, I do know how big it is because I can see it on here. It is about 3 2/3 by 2 1/3. So it's going to be, you know, a good sized bunny. And I'm going to just move him over to the middle. Now it doesn't matter where I put him on the page. The Cricut will know to start everything in the upper left hand corner. That's how it normally just does. Now if you look over here, and I'm going to probably not do a very good job of this again, I'm bringing you closer, and I think that you can see where it says layers, edit, sync, and canvas. And then underneath it says slice, weld, attach, flatten, and contour. If you hover over what it says, it will tell you what it does. So join multiple letters in one, I didn't leave it on there, into one shape. I can hold images in position for cutting, or adds writing to image layer. So I could make sure that this cut where I tell it to cut on this 12 by 12 sheet if I want to. I could also flatten it, which would mean it takes all of the layers, which you see here, there are 4 different layers to this bunny. I could take all 4 layers and it can flatten them into one layer. Now, if I were to try to cut this out of my Cricut, it wouldn't know what to do. It would cut just the shape and that would be it. This is more for using the print and cut function, which is something a little more advanced where you can make stickers and such. And you would first print this out as a flattened set, and then you would cut around it so that you would just have a kiss cut around the sticker and you could pull it off the sheet like a sticker. That is something that is advanced. I'm not going to be going over that right now. So I am going to unflatten this, and to do that you have to have it clicked and then click unflatten and it will unflatten. Also on the side you see that there are 4 layers and there's a printer next to each one, so I could print those out. And then also this eye next to each one, except for this one has the eye crossed out. And that just means that that image is not going to be cut unless I want it to be cut. And I can unclick the eye and it will show it on here. So I didn't have it selected, I didn't have it printed. It will put a cute little background on the back if I wanted that. If I don't want that, I can just click on the eye again and it will not do that. There we go. Or let's say I didn't want to cut the pink, just to give you a good example of what I'm saying. If I wanted to not cut this light pink, I could click on the eye there and it would take the light pink away and it shows you what you have left. So obviously I want that white or that light pink cut so that I can cut it. And also, just so you know, the colors that it shows are just in a reference. If I wanted to make a gray bunny or a white bunny or a purple bunny or a yellow bunny, I could choose whatever colors I choose. It does not matter. This is yours. You can make it yours. They're just giving you an idea. I do like these colors. It's very cute, but I might want a white bunny instead of a pink bunny. So let's go ahead and get started so that you can see how to do that. Once I've got my image, I click on go. I'm only going to do one image and this is the one I want. So I click on my green Cricut Go up here at the top. And then as you see, it breaks it down into colors. So there's 3 colors because I didn't use the black background. And it's showing me what it will print or actually this is wanting to print. So I'm going to tell it that I don't want it to print, I want it to cut. So it will print all of these images for me with these calibration marks, which again is something that I don't want you guys to do. So I'm telling it I want it to cut instead of print. And to do that, if you see next to these, it has a printer. And that's because I was making some stickers. So I'm trying to tell it I want it to cut and not print. Cut. Cut. There we go. And I did that under the layers, which was the first image that we were in. And I just wanted to cut those 3. And this one I don't really care about because I'm not going to do that one anyway. So let's do this again. I'm sorry about that, but that will teach you how to change it if you need to. Click on go. And now it's showing me my Cricut mat. And it's showing me my first cut needs to be out of this cute little bunny. And here I can move it wherever I wanted. If I wanted to cut it over here or wherever I wanted to on my page, I could. Now it shows a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. You don't have to use a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. You can use whatever piece of cardstock you want that would have the image where you want it, if that makes sense. So if I'm using an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock, I wouldn't want to put the image over here because then you wouldn't be able to see it when it cut. It would cut nothing. So I want to make sure it's within the parameters of my paper. And you could put the images I'm not even going to go there. I was going to say you could put the images on one piece of paper or on one, do it all in one kind of cut by putting everything on one and then just going, but I'm going to this is just 101, so I will just show you how to cut each individual image like this. So this one shows this one actually in brown, and we saw it before, it was in pink, but I think I want to use white. So what I'm going to do is put a piece of white cardstock onto my Cricut in that top right hand corner, onto my cutting mat, just like so. And now I'm going to move you over to my Cricut so you can see what I am doing. Okay, so we're at my Cricut, and I'm going to load the Cricut. You put it underneath the two notches and you hold it against the rollers, and then you push this button to load it in. I'm assuming you've already gotten it plugged in and it's powered on, and that's how you load the puppy. So once I've loaded it, then I go back to my Cricut, and I'm just going to turn you, and I apologize. Hello. So you're going to go back to your Cricut Design Studio, and you're going to push this button down here at the bottom, if I can show you, that says go right there. So I am just going to push that, and it will tell me that it's setting, and then it will say load, and then once it figures out that it's loaded, the Cricut will start, the Cricut on the Cricut machine will start flashing, and that will mean, oh, you're ready to go. So right now, I think, nope, not yet, now. Okay, and this says go, so it's in dark colors now, and then it says press the flashing go button. So here we go. I'm going to move you around real quick, so close your eyes. All right, you're back. Now, if you see, if I can show you on my Cricut, there is a flashing go light, and I'm hoping that you can see that because I cannot see where you're seeing. And that Cricut flashing light just means that's what you need to push to get the thing started. So I need to put my tripod somewhere, so I'm putting it there. Okay. I'm hitting that button and letting it do its thing. There are also choices on your Cricut as to what paper you're cutting. I'm cutting cardstock, so you need to make sure that you follow that instruction too. I am sorry, I did not say that, but I should have. But just make sure that you're on cardstock if that's indeed what you're cutting. Whatever you're cutting, make sure that you have that selected. And then now the arrow is flashing again, meaning that it's ready to be unloaded. So I'm going to unload that. And then, where's my little tool? Where? I seem to have not misplaced my tool. Oh, that's okay. I'm going to use this tool, which is very similar to my other tool. And then this is extra. This is just, you can toss this, or if you are frugal like me, you will cut it here, and then I can use this for another image or something. But you can, whatever you choose. Now I am very carefully taking my spatula and lifting off this image. So you can see the smaller the image, the harder it would be to do that. And this is my image, and it has cut places that aren't totally cut through as to where like the eyes will go or the mouth. And then we will do that here in a little bit. I will show you how to piece it all together. So there's my little bunny. Now I'm going to click my arrow on my computer to tell me to go to the next page. And this time it's telling me, oh, you know what? I totally lied to you. The first one said it needed to be brown because it was the brown layer. I was wondering why it said that and not pink. It's because I'm a dingbat. Again, this is crafting in real life, people. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to recut this so that it is brown because I do like it being brown. So let me find a brown piece of cardstock. And I've already cut something out of it already. And I'm going to put this into my Cricut, onto my cutting mat. I'm going to go back to the other one that says I've already cut it, but I'm going to cut them again. And I'm going to load this into my computer, push the little button, the arrow button. Now it's lit and it's waiting for the machine for the computer to say that I can go ahead and cut it. So I am sorry about that. I'm kind of a dingbat. I needed this one to be in brown. So now it's ready and the C is flashing. I push it. I cut out a chocolate bunny earlier with his ear bitten. I thought that was cute. Okay, now I push the arrow button. I was wondering why his eyes weren't cut out when I first saw this. Now I understand why the eyes aren't cut out, because this is the back base layer. So there is my bunny's back. Now it's time for the white, or they do pink, but I am going to do white. So I'm just putting the same piece of cardstock down, but I'm putting it so that I have a clean sheet on the upper left-hand corner, which is where I'm going to cut. And then I hold it against the rollers, push the load button, and it is ready to go. So I'm just telling the machine to cut this one. And it's ready. It says, go ahead. And it's done. It's very fast, and this machine is a little quieter than my other machine. Well, I'm having kind of a screwed up day right now. Let me just tell you. I'm recutting that because I screwed up. Nothing I said was wrong. Something I did was wrong. So let me recut this one more time. And I apologize. So just what I said was correct. I'm laughing at myself. Waiting for it to tell me it's ready, and it's ready. I promise this is easy. And it's lots of fun because then you get cool things and you're like, oh, I made this. It's really fun. And honestly, you can't mess up too much. I mean, if you do mess up, just like I did, and now I have two bases. I have a white base and a chocolate base. I can throw this white base away and all I'm out is a little piece of paper. Or I can save it and maybe I want to do a white-based bunny one time. It doesn't matter. Honestly, I'm just going to toss it because I don't need it. So I'm just going to throw that in my little trash. I used to keep everything like that, and then it just got to be too much because it's so easy to recreate. Sometimes when you're doing it, you just want a fresh whatever because you know the size you're doing, etc., etc. So I'm going to unload that, and then now I have my bunny's body. I'm just taking the spatula underneath that. And if you don't have one of these spatulas, I would recommend that. They are very helpful in making sure that you've gotten everything up without ripping anything. Because if you don't have one of these, it's kind of easy to rip things. So this is what this piece looks like. It has holes for the eyes and the ear, or eyes and the mouth and the whiskers. So when you connect them together, as you can see, it's going to fill that in for you with the brown. Isn't that cute? And then I'm going to take the extra pieces off of this mat because you don't want buildup on the mat. You want to make sure that you clean your mat after each use of all of this, all of the little, oh, what's it called? Scraps of paper. You want to just make sure you get all of those off. And now we're going to cut the last piece. which is the ears and the nose and the little belly and his little cheeks. And I'm going to do that with pink cardstock. So I've loaded my mat. I'm putting it in here, holding it against the rollers, pushing the load button, waiting for the Cricut to say go. It says go. I say okay. There are occasions too when you've cut something and you'll notice that it doesn't come through all the way, like it shows you that it's cut maybe. Like you can see the lines where it's cut. Hopefully you can see that on here, but you can't peel it off because it didn't cut all the way through. I'm not sure that it did it on this one, but I'm just thinking that no, it didn't. But sometimes your thicker cardstock, and this is a thicker piece of cardstock, it won't cut all the way through on the same that it will with the other pieces of cardstock. And if that happens, just cut it again, but turn your knob to clockwise just a little bit to get it a little bit thicker, or the needle will come out a little bit further so that you can cut a little deeper. That's the word I was looking for. So I'm just going to take these little pieces out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you just cut them out or pull them out. And sometimes like this, I don't know if you can tell, it's like a little bit stuck. I have to pull. That's okay. But it gives you a little bit of a something here. I just pull those off the back. It's really not a big deal. But then that's trash. But that's because this is thicker cardstock. So it had a little harder time cutting through that. And then I'm going to also pull up his other ear and his nose. Or her nose, however I want it to be. So that is how you use your Cricut. That is a basic first cut, or one of their first cut images. It's super easy, super fun to do. And then once you're finished, I'm going to move you back over here. So hold on, close your eyes because it's going to make you dizzy. Okay, we're back at the computer, and there is a finish button right down here on the bottom right hand side. You will click finish, and then it will take you back to where it started. And I can either click go again and do it all over again, or I can arrow out and go backward, or I can go back to my preview, which is a button down here at the bottom. Do you want to cancel the cut? Yes, because I've already cut it. So I just hit back to preview and cancel the cut. And then now I'm back to this. Let's say I want to save this. I can save this file by clicking on save. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing here. Can you see that? I'm just going to move this and hope that you guys can see. I can click save and save it if I chose to do that. I particularly don't need to save this image. I wouldn't save images that is just the image. If I spent time creating something, maybe making a, I don't know, a shirt that said Kennedy, and I made it fancy and I welded the pages, welded it together, and I put an image behind it or something like that, I would definitely save things like that. But if this is just an image straight from the cartridge, there's no reason to save that. So I am just going to close out, I think. I could just go and say new project. There we go. Do you want to save this project? And I say no. And then it'll give me a blank screen again, and I can start over and do whatever I want. So now I will show you what I do with these pieces. So stand by for just a second and we're going to get a different view. Okay, so now we're going to make a basic card using the pieces that we just cut out. And this is an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. If I cut this on the long side at 5.5, that's cutting it straight down the middle, I will have enough to make 2 card bases. So I'm putting that side in my extras pile, and then I'm using this side to make my card. And so what I will do with this is I will fold it in half. And I use my bone folder, which is just a straight edge that will make your paper crease nicely. And this is my card base now. And this is an A2 card. These are 5.5 by 4 1/4. And this is a standard greeting card size for card makers especially. And it's, again, an A2. And you can find envelopes for A2 cards just about everywhere. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take a piece of decorated cardstock, and I'm going to put that on top of this just to make it kind of cute. And I have some regular tape that I will use to tape this down. I'm not going to do anything yet, just so that we can figure out how we want our card, and this is the way I would recommend you guys start out too, just to make sure that you have your card the way you want it before you go forward, before you tape anything down or any of that. And then I'm going to take my pieces, and I have my 6 pieces that I have out of the pink cardstock. I have my brown and I have my white, and I know that the white is going to fit on top of the brown. So I'm going to take my double-sided tape. I really like this Tombow mono adhesive. It's also called Snail. You can get it at any of the craft supplies. You can get it at my shop on Stampin' Up! If you are interested. My link is below. You can just shop online to your heart's desire. And then I'm going to put this image, or this die cut, on top of my brown. And you just want to be careful just to line them up so that they're together. And once you have it where you want it, you just kind of push it down. And already it's looking very cute. Now I have these little pieces of cardstock to put on here, and you can see that if I tried to do this adhesive, I would have a hard time and it would be a mess. So what I would recommend for little pieces like this is to get a 2-way glue pen. That's what this one is. They have other sizes as well. You can get these, again, everywhere. And this one happens to also be from Stampin' Up!, so we carry them as well. And all you do is you take the piece that you want to put, and you can either apply glue to where you're going to put it, or you can apply it straight onto the die cut. Whatever floats your boat, it doesn't really matter. And then you carefully piece these together. Some people like to use tweezers. I personally think my hands are okay. And this glue is a little forgiving for a minute, but like now it's not going anywhere. But when I first put it on there, I think you could see that it could slide. And I like to go ahead and put it down, and I don't put the glue everywhere and then put my image on. These glue pens are 2-way glue pens. Once you put it down, if I put it down and waited, it would be repositionable, so then I could pull that off, and it's easy to get lost, especially in the mail. I personally like it to be permanent, so I just do it right away, and that means that it's a permanent adhesive stick. And most of the glue pens work that same way. All of them that I can think of, from Joann's or Hobby Lobby or Michael's or wherever. Stampin' Up!, close to my heart, all of them. You see, I wanted to go up there and do that one, but I thought, nope, can't do that. So I'm taking my little heart, and I'm going to put him down for his little nose. Isn't he cute? Do his little ears. And do his other little ear. Well, if I can pick it up. And there's little lines on the white card base that I could see where I needed to put those. And it just lines up perfectly, and it just turns out so darn cute. Hopefully you guys can see that. See what you created? Isn't that awesome? You did a great job. Good job, good job. So now what I'm going to do is I want a piece of ribbon on this because I'm not quite done with my card. So I'm going to cut a little piece of ribbon from my stash, and I'm going to make it just a little wider than the card. And then what I will do is I will take my designer series paper and hold it up to where I want it. And then I'm just going to fold this to the back, and I'm going to put a piece of just regular Scotch tape right back here to hold it. That way I don't have to go all the way around, and I save a little bit of tape and I save a little bit on ribbon, because I like to be a little frugal. Actually, I like to be a lot frugal with my crafting. So there we go. Now that I have this down, I'm going to take my mono adhesive two-way glue and I'm going to go on each edge of this card. So I do all four sides, and then I do a little bit in the middle. And then I can now stick this down, and it's beautiful. Then I will take my lovely image and I'm going to put him right here. And I'm going to use this double-sided tape and tape up him on all the little edges that kind of stick up. I'm going to try to put a little bit of tape. You could pop dot him and make him stick up a little bit. You could do whatever you choose. And if you wanted to get his whiskers down really well, you could put a little bit of glue on those. I think I will, just because I know I'm mailing this and I don't want it to get stuck on the envelope when it's going in or out of the card. Excuse me. So then I'm just going to put this little guy right there. Isn't that adorable? And I'm going to put a little ribbon on it still, so I'm taking a little bit more of my ribbon and I'm going to just make a little bow right here. And I'm not even going to do a bow, I'm just going to do a knot. And then I will take it and cut it at an angle, that way and that way. And now my card is basically finished. I'm going to put a stamp or something. I'm going to find something that says Happy Easter and put that there, but that is it. And that's just because I love to stamp and I like to do all of that. But you know what? You could easily just handwrite it on there if you didn't have a stamp that said something that you wanted. And I don't even know if I do, honestly. So you know what? Let's just write it on there, because that's what I would recommend. I'm just taking a pen and I'm going to write Happy Easter. And that, my friends, is it. You just made a card on the Cricut, and it is super cute, and I think anyone would be ecstatic to get this in the mail. So thank you so much for watching, and Jennifer, I hope that this helps you. And if you need another video on something else, or you would like another video showing something else with the Cricut Explorer, let me know and I will be happy to do another one. I'm thinking of doing one with stickers and such later, but honestly, I'd like to get to be a little bit better at that myself. I haven't even really done that yet, so I want to make sure I master it before I try to teach you. But I'd be happy to do whatever it is that you'd like to see, because I love my Cricuts. I have used a Cricut for years. I'm thinking, gosh, probably 5-6 years I've used Cricut, and I love it, love it, love it. And this machine is my favorite by far. It's really outstanding. I love that you have the ease of using your iPad or your iPhone. I also love, and I haven't really used my iPhone for it, but I have used my iPad. Just the screen is kind of small. I have the 6, so you know, if you have a 6 Plus or whatever, maybe that would be just fine for you. But you know what? It's a great machine, and even if you don't have this one and you have one of the other ones, you can't go wrong. They are quality machines, and I'm happy that you got one, Jennifer. And if there's anything else that you need me to show you, please just let me know, and I will be happy to do another video. So thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Happy Easter. Bye-bye.